Hello and welcome to Busy Pro Fast Wellness with me, Alan Welch. The Zoom interview that you're just about to hear was recorded back on the 16th of December, and this was my first online interview, so quite pleased to have crossed that bridge. I shortened the interview by editing it from around 17 minutes to approximately 10 minutes, but you, if you fancy, can listen to the entire interview by clicking on the unlisted YouTube link in the show notes to this podcast. I found Katie's golden tip and her clear analysis of discipline versus motivation to be really insightful, and I hope that you indeed enjoy this interview that's just about to come up now. Katie, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you're absolutely welcome. It's a real pleasure. Firstly, do you have any particular hobbies, anything that you've taken up since you've been here?
Yeah, so just within the last month, I've just started learning how to draw.
Oh, fantastic. I've heard so much about that recently from various friends, maybe mutual friends of ours. It's
Yeah.
something which really feeds well into this whole mindfulness thing because you are
hmm
completely detached. You're in the moment as you concentrate. Do you find that that's a total distraction from your day-to-day life?
100%. Yeah, literally, I didn't realize how significant it would be. And now I've sort of realized this thing when you see like artists and they say like, oh, I got lost in the studio for hours and hours or days and days because I was just so focused on what I was creating. And
Right.
obviously I'm a novice, self-learning. But yeah, I've just found I just get pulled into this mindful sort of practice of just being in that moment of doing what you're doing,
Yeah.
just focusing on one thing and then obviously seeing the change from absolute disaster to begin with
Yeah.
and then to not so much of a disaster by the sort of time you wrap up. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's the whole idea of that really comes in to this podcast in the sense of just seeing those tiny, minute changes from day to day or from week to week. If you just practice something, even if it's just for a short period of time,
hmm
you will notice those significant improvements. So I'm really pleased. And you have sparked my imagination for something on this topic for the future. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Perfect. And is to ask if you have a particular golden tip, something that you can share with the listeners, helping others improve in any way.
Of course, yeah. So I was thinking about it, and it's very broad. There's so many different things, and I was sort of running through the this, that, the other, and I was just like, how would I focus on just one thing?
Yeah.
But what I thought there was a common theme that I realized with all of them was that none of them are any good if you don't have discipline to apply them.
Okay. Yeah.
So, and this is something that comes up for me because people have always sort of said to me, oh, I don't know how you stay so motivated with the gym and how do you do this and how do you do that? And they always come about asking about my motivation. And I've always responded, it's not a case of motivation. My motivation isn't always there. A lot of the time it's not. You wake up, you're feeling tired, or,
Mm,
there's 100 other things to be doing. But then that's when the discipline comes in, to still do it regardless of what else is coming up, or
yeah.
whether it's external or internal factors that are trying to prevent you from doing this thing.
Of course.
So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Discipline is key. I've started getting up at the crack of dawn, and I'm striving for 5 o'clock, and I'm not always achieving it, I'll be honest with you, because it's a new endeavor on my part to do that. However, it is becoming easier, and I know that the more I do it, maybe I'll get up at 6, maybe I'll get up at 6:15,
Mhm.
maybe, it depends. And if I need sleep, that's very important. But on the whole, I'm getting up exceptionally early because I find that that time's productive. And it's hard, but the motivation is there because I
Yeah.
know that that's going to, again, it's going to serve me well in the future if I can just crack that nut of managing
Mhm.
to get up particularly early at that time. So, could you give an example of something that you use that discipline for?
Yeah, I mean, well, so for example, with what you were just saying about the getting up and you've got the motivation there at the moment. So the motivation is probably the night before when you're setting your alarm. It's, yes, I feel motivated tomorrow. I want to get up at 5 a.m.
Mm,
And then, of course, the alarm goes off in the morning and it's cold, it's dark, you're
yeah,
tired, and you don't have the motivation in those few minutes. So when your alarm clock goes off, that's when it's coming down to the discipline of telling yourself, I set my alarm clock last night whilst I had the motivation because this is something that my future self is going to be grateful for.
yeah,
So in this moment now, I can either turn off the alarm or snooze the alarm and roll back over and go to sleep. Or, you know what? It's hard. Yes, I don't want to do it right now. No, but I'm going to because this is something that I've set for myself.
exactly.
And
Yeah,
it's easy to do something when it's easy to do,
yeah,
but it's then this is when the discipline comes in to help us to continue to do the things when it's not easy to do.
yeah,
Um, and I think this is a big thing about is knowing your own weaknesses.
yeah,
So for yourself, for example, in that scenario, if you know, for example, like when you wake up, when your alarm goes off at 5 a.m., it's dark and it's cold and you don't want to get out of your cozy duvet,
no,
have things there to support you to be able to do it as easy as possible. So, for example, a big cozy dressing gown right next to your bed. So, as you're getting out of bed, you just can wrap yourself in this dressing
yeah,
gown or have you or straight away turn the torch onto your phone so you've got some light in the room. Something like this. It's
yeah,
recognizing the things that are going to set you back
yeah,
and then finding counter actions
yes.
to diminish those as much as possible.
What you've just
Does
described
that make
there,
sense?
no, what you've described makes absolutely perfect sense. Have you read the James Clear Atomic Habits? Because he talks about
Mm-mm.
this. Oh, you haven't? That's
No.
such a coincidence because this really feeds in well to what he talks about is you put strategies in place, even though the task is difficult, in order to make it easier.
Hmm.
And he also talks
Exactly.
about other factors as well, which are not quite related with the enjoyment factor, if you can marry that up to the task as well. But it seems that you've hit on exactly what he harkens about a lot in that seminal book, Atomic
Well, that's
Habits.
because he interviewed me and I gave him the ideas.
For a second, I thought, wow, interviewed by such a guru. Good heavens.
No, no, I've heard of the book, of course. It's not been something that I've read yet.
These are great. These are great tips as well for me because I mean, I find it difficult, but there have been lots of things in the past, challenges I've done, and I just, because of the end result, whether it's training for a marathon, I know that I want to achieve that time. And if I don't achieve the time, that's fine, but the process is there. And that in itself, just having that objective is enough to carry on. But what I find that some people do is that if they've fulfilled the objective, run the marathon, then it tapers down. So it's good to have this
Sure.
stuff ingrained into you all the time where
Yeah.
if it's just a general fitness thing. I know that because we're friends. I know that you obviously do go out and exercise and go to the gym, and you're quite a keen swimmer. You go swim in the sea like me on occasions,
Yeah.
a bit of cold therapy, so we have that in common as well. um, so brilliant. That discipline, how to
Mm.
apply it, and you apply it obviously to your own fitness objectives, yeah?
Yeah.
And that's pretty much
Yeah.
it, yeah.
And then
Okay,
I
good.
think when you said about, do you think like the motivation can help you along? It can and it can't because it's fleeting. It comes and it goes. It's not always there. It's not always not there. But then when you've, or for me anyway, when something has become disciplined and then it just becomes as ingrained into your life as getting up and brushing your teeth. You do it just because you have to do it every morning.
Yeah, yes,
Or you're getting up and you're going to work. You don't always necessarily want to get up and go to work, but you do it because you have to. And
exactly.
of course, it helps if you enjoy it. But I think once the discipline has created the routine,
Yes.
it's the routine that helps you to stay in it rather than the motivation.
But then you've just espoused another idea of James Clear as well.
Oh, really?
Maybe his ideas are so obvious, but then, because you've encapsulated it really succinctly in what you just said by talking about habit formation, which he talks about a lot, because if you do it over and over again, it becomes part of your daily routines.
Mm,
So therefore, that just becomes ingrained naturally, and it becomes easier and easier and easier until it becomes natural. And I guess for me, as a musician playing the trumpet, doing my own routines over again and over again, you don't have to think, obviously, as you go through that
yeah,
process of learning.
yeah,
But it's good to know that somebody who hasn't read that book naturally employs those techniques into their own day-to-day lives. And these techniques, they do work. So I'm really
yeah,
pleased that you've shared that.
of course.
You have a guest house here, don't you, as well? Could you tell us a
Yes.
little bit about that?
Of course, shameless little plug here.
Yeah, of
So,
course.
yeah, we've got 10-bed guest house and a 6-bed apartment, so we can sleep up to 16 people. If you want to check us out, our website is portraitguesthouse.com, and there you can see the different options of the apartment or the guest house, both central Valencia, right in between the city centre and the beach. So,
It is
in my
amazing
opinion,
location.
prime location
It's a
for
great
getting around
location.
Valencia.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. You are right in between. You could easily get to the centre and to the beach. It's this fantastic
Yeah,
location. What I'll do though, Katie, is I'll drop something in the show notes there as well. So anybody wants to check out Portrait Guesthouse,
exactly. Yeah.
um, then they can do, and they can just go straight to the link in the show notes.
Thank you very much.
It's been an absolute pleasure, and
You're welcome. And we'll see
well,
you for a game of tennis in the new year.
oh no, I've set myself up now, haven't I? Oh God, I wish I'd never said anything. All right. Thank you very much, Katie.
You're
All the best.
welcome.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Cheers. Bye.